Welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi Tatarigoroshi. That's how long can record before the inevitable interruption. As always, start off with really? Shokuyoku. Appetite. I find that very fitting. I just opened the page and that's a word that caught my eye. As I said, it's like, yeah, I'm expecting an interruption at some point in the next half hour or so. It'll probably be a short recording, but the interruption will be because of food. So how fitting is that for our word of the day? And how fitting it is, because they're gonna have to stir fry up, aren't they? So there's that as well.
That's indeed a pity. And today I will present to you an especially tasty dish.
As usual, it's always like at the start of recording, like, gotta do the voices properly, gotta like... It's like when people like in theatre and shit, where they do that warm-up thing, where they just like read lines over and over to get into like character and kind of get the flow of their words smoothly and shit. I don't know how else to word it. You just need to like warm up essentially. Normally right about now was the time I would start messing with her, but I didn't. Yeah, I bet you end up making something really great. I'm really looking forward to it. She stammered for a second. Satoko had been prepared for me to start making fun of her right then, too. And when it didn't come, she was surprised. Or maybe she stammered for some other reason, I don't know. But I immediately knew she wasn't feeling anything bad.
Yes, I'll deliver an extraordinarily delectable dish. You'd better look forward to it.
As Satoko and I rode back on our bikes, I had a thought. Was I this sort of person? Until now, I would have lashed back at Satoko right away if she did something to me. Yeah, that was the kind of relationship we had. We would poke at each other a little, then kick up a storm while nitpicking at one another. At some point, that had changed. We weren't playing our usual tit for tat. I didn't provoke her, so we didn't fight. That went for Satoko too. Satoko, who I thought I knew, I hadn't been like this until now. Our relationship was changing, little by little. That's what it felt like. But it wasn't something I had to worry about. It was like our relationship had become a little bit happier, a little bit more charming. I wonder why we changed like this. Was she lonely projecting her older brother Satoshi, who had returned home, onto me? Chen told me about that yesterday. That was probably exactly it. So, as my actions grew closer to Satoshi, Satoko was returning to how she'd been when she was living happily with her brother. It's kind of, ironic, fitting, I don't know, how is that comparison, how he's like, his actions drew closer to Satoshi's. If you saw Onika Kushi, it's just like, oh yeah, there was a similar situation in that, but different at the same time. In other words, this Satoko was the real Satoko. Satoko had been able to see her brother again and had finally gone back to normal. Now that I'd been playing the role of her brother, I had discovered that she really could smile so sweetly. But I wasn't Satoshi Hojo. I was Keiichi Maibara, a totally different person. I couldn't become her brother. I could come close, but I could never really get there. That was vaguely somehow a little sad. I was wearing Satoshi's mantle, and that would have to come off one day. And that would doubtlessly put an end to this meager, nostalgic, peaceful time of Satoko's. A limited tranquility. A tranquility that would end one day. Putting it in those terms, it really was sad. I shook my head firmly and drove off those pointless thoughts.
What's the matter, Keiichi-san?
Sorry, it's nothing.
But it's nothing, and please don't act all strange like that. It makes me worried that you might have eaten something rotten.
Right. Sorry, Satoko. Nagging like always, but she still seemed really happy. That mood of hers drew me in, putting a smile on my own face. Hey, Keiichi Mabara. I'm just wondering now. I'm only just now thinking about his last name. It's like, is that how it's pronounced? And then let's look at the syllables. Ma-e-ba-ra. Ma-e-ba-ra, ma-e-ba-ra, ma-e-ba-ra. Is it ma-e-ba-ra or ma-e-ba-ra? It's the way I've been wording it. Wait, let's look for a word in here that uses that kind of syllable. Yeah, I've heard that one before. You know, oh my, or whatever, oh my. I can't remember, I've heard that. It's like, it means you. It's a term used by superior males to infer status individuals while common in the workplace. Ironically, it is best avoided by non-Japanese. Just like, oh, here's a word for you, but unless you're actually Japanese yourself, you should probably avoid using it. Probably come off as offensive if you use it. I don't know. But that's using that syllable, only it's O instead. So, whatever, I know. But I think that's how it's pronounced. It's like my, right? But at the same time, in Japanese, they've got an I that is pronounced as an E. It's right there. Keiichi. It's not like Keiichi. I mean, now that's not how it's pronounced, is it? I'm pretty sure it's my bar, though. I'm just going to assume that. Why don't we quit thinking about this having to end one day? If it will, then just think about it when that happens. There was one thing, however, that I should say for sure. As long as I smiled like this, Satoko's own smile would never wane. So as long as I stay this way, this tranquility would never end. Satoshi would come back one day too. That might happen a lot further away than I'd like, but until that day, what's wrong with me being a replacement for him? Saying that I'm not her real brother, so I can't become Satoshi. That was just an excuse. I just didn't run away. Satoko would stay happy and live a fun life of annoyed nitpicking. I don't know what happened to Satoshi or what made him abandon Satoko and run away. I just seen Satoko in such a good mood. It made me think I could persevere as long as I needed to. So this is what I thought. I wouldn't become Satoshi, I would become a replacement brother. This is it! This is the kind of stir-fry I was waiting for! It's great! It's absolutely great! The salted pepper in the mouth! Oh, man! I could eat an entire pot of this!
Stop that, Kingston! You're spilling food everywhere! The food isn't gonna run away, you don't need to eat it so fast.
No, it will run away! The best and freshest flavors are running away from the moment the meal is completed! If you were to make 100 delicious things, then I would have a duty to taste every one of them! It's just good manners to do so! Over-the-top voice acting!
Your meal isn't more than enough! Don't calm down and enjoy your food!
You're right, I'm sorry. No insults here. I meekly scratched my head and put down my chopsticks and laughed along her like it was funny. That's a thought I've had. Imagine if I was a voice actor and did a dub of some sort. Imagine how surreal that would be. You'd be like, it'd have to be over the top because I find it hard to do the serious kind of voice acting. I feel like it's easier to do comedy kind of comical voices. It's like, there's one anime, Cromartie High, like the English dub for it is just so weird, but the show is incredibly weird, so it fits perfectly because it's just complete nonsense. It's like a show like that, where you could ham it up with the voice acting. That's perfect role right there. End up doing most of the eating. Did I read the previous line? Yeah. God damn it, I do that and then have to click on it again. Satoko's barely taken a bite. She seems satisfied just by watching me enjoy the food so much. Whenever I filled my mouth with more of her delicious meal, Satoko looked glad. That let me enjoy the food even more. In this way, she kept smiling happily the whole time. Looking at her made me feel happy as well. The time passed softly and gently. Before I would have gone back and forth hurling insults for Satoko. In other words, we would have got into a fight right away. I'd never known I could feel such peace of mind by talking to her honestly like this. It was a little bit, I was a little bit happy about having discovered this new side of Satoko. For example, I was eating food that Satoko had made. There wasn't an inch of me that thought it was suspicious. Before, however, Satoko would have definitely put some sort of a trap into this, like laxatives or something. I think I ate too much. I'm gonna take a dump. What? You actually said that?
Hey, Keiichi-san, it's bad manners to say such words during a meal.
Then what should I say? I'm going to the bathroom, the toilet, the lavatory. Well, any one of those words would be more preferable to just saying I'm going to take a dump. I mean, you might as well, it's like as blunt as like, just saying, yeah, I gotta go take a shit, because that's essentially what he's saying. Satoko looked down, her face bright red, and pointed down the hallway as if to say, just go already. That's a word in Japanese, like toilet seems to be like, probably like written in katakana, I'd imagine. Simply based on the way it's pronounced. Toyare, or something like that. The pronunciation's just weird on that, but it sounds like it would be like toilet, obviously, and it is, but it's in Japanese. But it's one of those words that sounds like it's clearly borrowing from English, so it'd probably be written in katakana. I don't know. Whoops, my old habits seem to have come back. But yeah, this wasn't all that bad either. No weird schemes, everything is just natural. Having such utterly unguarded thoughts, I went into the bathroom, and then realized the laxatives were actually true. Tug! My foot caught on something string-like. Huh? Whoa! Bang! Slam! Go! A kennel? Wash tubs? Satoko! She got me. I can't believe her. She always does this when I let my guard down. Well, it's nice to see she still has her, habit of setting traps for him. I can't relax for a minute around her. Still, it was kind of funny, and I didn't really feel like getting angry. Satoko, laughing uproariously, came over.
See? I knew you would fall for it sooner or later.
Why, you little! I let my guard down for 1 second, and this is what I get? I picked up all the wash tubs that had hit me in the head and went to go hit Satoko with them. But then I doubled over with laughter that was being welling up within me, so I couldn't manage it. I wish things could go on forever like this. It's not like I won't have been the most fun since come until he was our or anything. But it was probably the first time that I'd spent my day so simply and comfortably. It really wasn't worth much, it was only a few hours after all. As an only child, it was my first taste of having a sibling. Just washing dishes with her felt really nice. Side by side we watched, with the experienced Satoko doing most of the work, as I threw in appropriate words to add to the conversation. Like, I gotta take another dump. The scene was so commonplace and yet so mild and warm. Maybe I had felt this kind of warmth before too in the past. I think I've stood next to the sink with my mother like this when I was little. It made me feel nostalgic when I remembered it. It was the same sort of slow, easy time. It was tranquil. Such a quiet tranquility that the fact I wasn't uneasy about anything itself almost made me uneasy. Hey, wait, Keiichi, my boy. You feel uneasy about something just from spending time so leisurely? There's nothing at all to feel uneasy about. I mean, why would I be punished for enjoying a gentle life? I do do anything to keep those days going, and I would never do anything bad, no matter what. I'd work hard for it and endure much for it. You know, is it just me, or does it feel like every, like, one of these novels has, like, it's like a tempting fate kind of thing, isn't it? Just like, oh, it's got a character's, like, saying something like that, and just like, oh, is that foreshadowing for shit's gonna hit the fan eventually? And we know shit's gonna hit the fan eventually in these. Every freaking question arc, answer arc, every one of the arcs is just like shit hits the fan, and around about the midway point, where the plot gets serious and just like takes a dark turn. So he's just like, it's like he's just like, it's like the critic's like, oh, everything's so great and wonderful. Be a shame if something shitty happened to it, right? God damn it, there, click off it. Hate how it does that. So you click on that and then you can't use the enter key. You have to click on the freaking window again. So God, it's not much of a dream to want this kind of thing to keep on going, but can't you grant it?
Oh, is that not the telephone? Who could it be at this hour?
Oh, yeah, right. I hadn't noticed until she mentioned it. I hurried to stand up, then ran to the phone. Could it be Rika? Who could it be at a time like this? I did feel a little like the phone had interrupted my happy moment. I still wanted to brag about how happy the time I was spending made me, no matter who it was on the other side. Well, this is my bar speaking. Oh, okay. Oh, Keiichi, it's your mother. Oh, hello, Mum. What is it? It's pretty late. That was a little cold to me when she was only calling because she was worried about her son. I couldn't help but give myself a dry smile. It sounds like you're doing just fine for yourself. I was worried that you couldn't make dinner and went to bed hungry. Ah, it worked out. Did you make dinner properly? What did you have tonight? It was vegetable stir-fried rice and miso soup. Brought stuff for it at the supermarket, plus a whole bunch of side dishes just for fun. Oh yeah, listen to this. I got the fork during the sale and got it half off. That thing's a housewife knows, right? And also, all of that was thanks to Satoko, not something I should be proud about. But still, I couldn't help but want to boast about the dinner tonight. Seems like Mum got the hint that I was in a really good mood. I see. I'm so relieved that you're doing just fine. Oh yes, another thing. Your dad and I finished up with our job. We think we'll be back tomorrow afternoon or evening. Oh, I see. You did well for 2 nights. We've been pulling all-nighters too. It was a lot of work, but we managed to fill the gap in your dad's mental event. Cool. That's good. Well done. Why did my parents coming home seem so disappointing, and why did part of his dialogue appear on 2 separate screens for that? I knew a little bit of the reason, of course. This tranquility I never wanted to end was about to end so readily, and it was a little painful. After being asked what kind of souvenir I wanted from Tokyo and replying that anything edible would be great, I put down the receiver and Satoko appeared, having finished cleaning up her trap. At first, Satoko was in a very good mood, but when she saw me put down the receiver with an uncertain expression, her own clouded over a bit. Seemed like she'd gotten the gist of what my phone conversation had been about.
Is that your parents' cake, Sam?
Yeah, Mum says they'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, that's good then. I won't have to go to the trouble of making you dinner tomorrow. Now you can enjoy your meals with just your family.
Oh, that's not it. Think about the dull, plain dinner table coming back tomorrow. It's a little lonely.
You sure do live in luxury. A family sitting around the dinner table is the most fun way to enjoy a meal, after all.
Her boy Satoshi running away from home came to mind immediately, but there was no gloom in the way she said it.
It was only for 2 days, but they were very enjoyable dinners.
Well, next time I'll go to your house to visit.
Huh?
Satoko momentarily made a happy smile, but then a second later it changed to an expression of surprise.
My house is small and it's dirty. and the kitchen isn't as good as this one.
Well, I don't mind, but, well, if you don't want to, then I won't. She shook her head firmly, her whole body expressing denial. I gotta get you to teach me a whole bunch more stuff, too. I finally managed to figure out how to use a rice cooker and how to cook me some soup, after all.
That's right, isn't it? Perhaps we should use this opportunity to help you learn more about cooking.
It was so like Sir Tucker to take this chance to proclaim that it was all for my sake. There was no more way to conceal her own enthusiasm. It was true that this gentle time would come to an end when my parents got back. There was no need to lament out, though I can easily put in the effort to continue our mild moments like this. It's like I've observed this a lot in the way I read, but I read faster than necessary. But at the same time, if I didn't read the way I did, especially with my rambling, this would go on forever. I mean, imagine if I read it, like, you know, with all those pauses and be like, there was no need to lament that, though. I can easily put in the effort to continue on mild moments like this. It'd be considerably slower. It'd be more professional, probably, but it'd be slower. Like yesterday, Satoko told me she didn't need to be escorted home. I can't remember what video it was. I can't remember the name of the game. I was watching Cryotic, I forget what the YouTube name is, but well known. And he has that kind of soothing voice that makes people in the comments go like, oh, I love the voice, man, it's the best part. Because it's just calm sounding. He doesn't have like that overly enthusiastic energy, but he has that kind of chill voice. And whenever he reads something, he'll read it in a more professional way than I would. Because he actually, you know, like, reads it like, you know, how, like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like he actually makes those pauses that I don't seem to do much. But anyway, Rika-chan wasn't with her tonight. She would be going home by herself. Everyone knew everyone else's face here in Enemy's Hour, so it wasn't like it was dangerous to go out at night, but it still wasn't good to send a girl on her way all alone. Remember, it was like all this after Tatarigoroshi. Certainly wasn't the case there, was it? I won't say anything more than that, because I don't want to spoil our question marks, even if we've gone over them already. At the very least, that's what I thought of Satoko's older brother. It's like I said, when we go from one question mark to the next, it's like, if I reference another arc, I like don't want to spoil it too much in case like someone stumbles upon this and is like, I haven't seen those ones yet, but I like started with this one. It's like, so not to spoil it too much, you know. Whatever, I'll take you as far as the school at least. There's more lights over in that direction anyway.
It's really fine, alright. If I want bad shows up, we'll take them down with one finger.
There's no point in pressing her anymore on the subject, so I took a handful of Satoko's hair and rubbed her head viciously. Pat on the head, ruffle, 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 ruffle. Yeah, it's like Pokemon Moon with that. Just like Pokemon petting simulator, that is to be summed up as. It's just like, I forget what it is, Pokemon Refresh, where you like, you can feed them, what were they called? Pokebeans or whatever the hell, and pat them on the head to raise affection. It's just like that. Satoko, you've become a Pokemon! Except, no. I've been referencing, like, the way, like, anime protagonists have done that long before playing that. Where they always, like, ruffle the hair. And then there's Rika who does the opposite, which is pretty much the same thing, but just complete role reverse. Come on, Satoko, don't complain so much. Your Nini will bring you part of the way there. That's what I was about to say when I suddenly got embarrassed and my voice trailed off. Nini could only be the nickname Satoko gave to her old brother and nothing else. I was about to use it pretty lightly, so I started to feel apologetic and a little ashamed.
Nini.
Eh? What did Satoko just say?
Well, he said just seems like an older brother. That's why I said it. Not quite right, but you seem kind of like, so I just...
That is an awkward laugh there. Satoko laughed awkwardly and turned red in the face. Of course I was embarrassed when I saw her too, because the fact that I was trying to act like her brother had gotten across. A warm feeling spread out from my chest. It was completely different from romantic feelings, or any of those more impatient emotions. It was much more graceful, quiet and warm, and calm. Satoko still needed her Nini. I had initially thought Rika-chan was being sly by not coming today, but when I thought about it like this, I could feel a kind thoughtfulness of her worrying about her good friend's feelings. Maybe Rika-chan had understood that she couldn't play the part of her brother herself. So then, no, let's stop there, Keiichi Maibara. So it's like, wow, what is Rika other than like Satoko's best friend? Does Satoko see her as a sister in a way? That's something to think about, I guess. There's no point in thinking about it so hard. It means everyone feels the same way. It means everyone wants Satoko to be happy. Satoko is acting as though her Nini is running away from home didn't bother her at all. Even though that wasn't actually the case. She was very sad and always waiting for him to come home. Because Satoko was a stable person when she was his sister. In order for her to really be this level-headed, having a brother was something she couldn't do without. In other words, Satoko still needed a brother. Nobody had the right to smile in such a way as childish immaturity. In fact, they deserve praise for being so close to each other as siblings. That role of brother should be played by her real Nini, by Satoshi, but unfortunately he wasn't here. So, since I'm here, I'll play the part. Not with a guilty conscience, but in a very natural way. Because, is there something wrong with seeing Satoko smile so happy?
What's the cake stand? You've been smirking for quite a while now.
Is it weird for me to look happy?
It isn't weird or anything, but, well...
The sound of the motor on her bike light was too loud and I couldn't hear what Satoko said. You know, that'd be a similar reaction to me, that would be. It's like, anytime I smile, it's just like, can like take people off, like, surprised because I don't smile often. But I do, just not nearly as often as, like, you know, people who can put on a fake smile with ease, essentially. When I smile, it has to be genuine, because I'm not good at putting on a fake smile. If I do, it's more of a smirk, essentially. So it's just like fitting there, isn't it? It's just like, yeah, you've been smirking for quite a while now, Keiichi. I just like, I've brought this up before in a past video. I can't remember how long ago it was, and definitely wasn't this LP. But when back when I was in school years ago, I remember like everyone would always try to purposely get a reaction out of me, try to purposely make me smile because it was that rare. Huh? What? What did you say?
Nothing. You really aren't just like Nini, you know. Kickstand.
Is that right?
Of course they're completely different from my real Nini. But, like, there's things that you do the same. It's really a mystery.
Same? You feel lonely when you remember Nini? As I said that, I thought for a moment that was absolutely the wrong thing to say, but Satoko didn't seem to mind one bit.
It's not that I'm lonely, since Kickstand is being my Nini for me right now.
As I was flustered for a moment after hitting the mark, Satoko suddenly asked me a question in a calm voice. It was very quiet, composed, and adult question.
Was it Rika?
It was quiet, but her voice sounded lonely somehow.
Didn't Rika ask you to act like my Nini for me?
That was a thing.
Please don't take offense. Rika is strangely considerate of me, but it really doesn't bother me that much.
I could say for sure that at least it's a lie. Strangely, Satoko had been so happy spending time like this with me as siblings, and that was proof itself that she was lying about it not getting to her. So I gave Satoko a light poke in the head. You're thinking too much, dummy. Poke in the head. I'm me, Keiichi Maibara. Not your needy, not Sadoshi Hojo.
I know that.
Despite her saying that, her expression seemed a little lonesome. At this point, Satoko herself had realized that her question had been the wrong thing to say. We didn't need to keep talking about something that Satoko regretted. So in order to cut the conversation short, I grabbed Satoko's head and pet her. Pet on the head. It does that a lot, see? That's standard anime protagonist procedure, that is. Well, it's a sound novel, but it's got the anime art style and has an anime adaptation and a manga adaptation and all that shit. So, it counts. Let's not talk about silly things like that. It's getting late, so get back home, brush your teeth, and go to bed. And rinse them out before sleep too. It'll keep you from getting the colds.
You don't want to talk, Nini. Be sure to brush your teeth, okay? Rinse them out and wash your hands. Then get your books ready tomorrow. And...
I wonder what kind of siblings Satoko and Sadoshi were. I've never seen them together, but I could say without a doubt that they were really close. As for the way in which they were close, it was probably quite like this. We're gonna I'm not sure, I can't really remember it. We do get a lot more development for it, obviously, in this, because this is you could see it as Satoko's arc, in a way. Orikakushi was Rena's, sort of. Well, fittingly enough, actually, the answer after Onikakushi will be more Rena focused, but essentially Onikakushi was more focused on Keiichi and Rena and to an extent Mion. Watanagashi was focused more on Mion and Shion. This one's more focused on Satoko. The next one will be more focused on Rika, so it's every character gets their chance in the limelight and whatever. Yeah, and then the answer arcs will do what they're supposed to do. Answering of things that you don't have answers to the question marks. I'm rambling here, as usual. As for the way in which it was probably quite like this. The moon in the sky, posterized I think is the effect, but I do not know. It was so cool that the day's heat seemed like a lie, and yet the moonlight was somehow faintly warm. The quiet chorus of the insects was pleasing to the ears. That reminds me, it's just this one small keyboard I had as a kid years ago. The musical type. And it had an insect sound board effect thing. You press down on the keys and you get these, essentially, cicadas. It was so weird. And if only I could remember the damn name of the type of keyboard, because I want that keyboard again, man. It has some nice effects on it. Even had some nice techno bits where it draws out where my keyboards, I've got two keyboards, but the main one I've got out has a lot of variety of effects, but there are certain effects that each keyboard has their own unique effects, essentially. Settings. Instrument things and certain inputs. Mine has the piano and all that. It has harpsichord. It has various types of organs, settings, string settings, vibraphone. Then it's got violin settings, cello, harp. It's got some kind of techno sounding ones, saxophones, trumpets, trombone, flutes. It has a variety of settings, but what I'm saying is that it has some interesting ones on it. I'm kind of getting way off subject there with rambling about keyboards. Did I read that last line? I don't know, but Higurashi when they cry when the moon is quarter in the darkness. You have received new tips. Satoko's trap course intermediate. trials and tribulations, achievements and love. Let's go check it out. I plugged my keyboard in to try and figure this out again. But it's a pain in the ass. My keyboard is actually set up properly now. It's on top of my shelf, but I'd have to, like, you know, get up to actually play it, though. Or I could, like, slide the freaking chair across the room a bit. But the trouble with it is the plug can't reach my, like, what do you call those? Whatever they're called. Circuit breaker? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I don't know. But it's not within range. But the one that is within range is on the wall plug, and it's like literally has to be stretched right past my door. So it's like if someone walks into my room, God knows what'll happen. Freaking thing might just go whoop. Anyways, so screw that. Satoku's trap course. When I see the word intermediate, I think that sounds pronounced right, I think of, like, guitar tabs. Like, anytime I've seen ultimate guitar tabs, you'll always have, like, they'll always register as that, like, novice, intermediate, and advanced, for how difficult a piece is to play, essentially. I could see Tomita-kun and Okumura-kun walking over to the gym storehouse. They needed to get the bag of lime used to make the lime into the course for our next gym class. They were on duty today after all. But in that storehouse, a terrible trap was awaiting them. Wait. Oh, being on this side of the trap for once is really thrilling.
Oh, if you realize that is the true pleasure in setting up traps, then you have the potential yourself, Keiichi-san.
The two of them fumbled around in the gym. The storehouse's lock. Oh, what's this? Okumura-kun pointed to the part of the door and started whispering to Tomita-kun. Then realizing something, they both jumped away from the door. Oh, Satoko, I think they found out. Did we mess up? So is he setting up traps with Satoko now? Just like, we will bond over setting traps for our classmates.
I calculated that he would notice the trap at the entrance. And of course I've calculated what action they will take now.
According to Satoko, after they noticed a suspicious trap on the door, they would go around and try to get in through the back window. It's a big mistake. And just as she improvised, they went around to the back. And just as she improvised, they climbed up, opened the window, and tried to sneak in. Wow, amazing. Everything's exactly like you said. Ah, I got him! Poof! Poof! An explosion of pure white lime burst out of the window. After a few moments, the two of them managed to crawl away from the window, both of them completely white.
This is the moment I live for! It tastes like honey!
Still, that was some trap. Well, I know everything that sets something like that up. Where'd they put their hands, their legs? Where'd they jump down?
Listen carefully, Keiichi-san. The first step to making a trap is to watch and observe the victim. You must scrupuliously move their sleeve and take their movement patterns, how they'll move at any given moment. Do that, then you can achieve the greatest possible results with only the most minimal trap.
It just makes me think of Yu-Gi-Oh! There. It's just like, if she was a duelist, she would specialize in trap cards for obvious reasons. I mean, she'd observe her opponent like, I'm going to set traps for you, and it's going to be so unexpected. It's like you expect the traps, but you don't know how she'll go about it. It's like them, they notice the first trap, but she plans ahead, she knows, she's observed. So she is like, always got something to counter it. Like, remember the very first trap that we saw in Onikakushi? Where Keiichi, like, when we first meet her, essentially, where he's like, oh, Stogie set up a trap. I ain't falling for that shit. And he goes around it, only to fall into another trap. She plans this shit out well. Come to think of it, before Satoko read the final move at that final moment earlier, Fiona had given her high praise, saying that she had the markings of a genius. So it's all about reading the moments. So then, the traps have caught me in the floor, correct? Because they figured out everything I do?
Yes, I can see right through all your actions, and that's how I set him up. So if one day you suddenly started having different habits of behavior, I wouldn't be able to anymore.
Bragging that she could anticipate everything I do. That was kind of mean. Okay then, let's play a game now. I want to test whether your predictions are accurate.
That's satisfied with me. Kid-san, you are particularly easy to get a read on. I could do it before breakfast. Ho 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 ho!
When we went back to the classroom, Satoko tore off pieces of paper and wrote something on the back of them, making 3 cards. Of course I didn't know what she had written.
Please pick one of these cards, Kid-san. If you do not pick one that says you're a loser, you will win.
Great, you're on! The club has built up my sensitivity to this stuff, so I'll smash right through your predictions. Satoko smirks and hurls out the 3 cards. Set your mind to full power by calming it, Keiichi Maibara. Use calm mind and raise your special attack and special defense. Cool and collected is how you'll win this Pokemon contest. If I am to pick the losing one, I will win. Which means if I do pick it, Satoko will win. In other words, Satoko wants to make me pick the losing one. What would she do to make sure I pick the losing one? Could she even predict something like that? Statistically speaking, isn't there some rule that says I'm more likely to pick the one in the middle or the one on either side? My point there, and then it hits me like a flash that this is what Leon would do.
Now which one will you pick?
I've made my decision, and it is this one!
Huh? Ah! What are you doing?
I steal all 3 cards from Satoko's hands. I predict that Satoko would do in advance what she would do in advance. Satoko wanted to make sure I picked the losing one, which meant all 3 of these were losing ones. And that's how I knew! Allow me to look at all 3! I flip all 3 cards face up, and on each one there's a single word. You're a loser. What is this? You're a loser? Huh?
It means just what it says. If you had only chosen one, you wouldn't have lost.
What? What? You predicted that I'd draw 3? I held my head in my hands and fainted as Satoko revealed at the might of her abilities. You know, it's the way he fought it out, just like, yeah, that's what you expect me. He's always like that though, isn't he? It's like, yeah, I will. It's just like, you always think like a lot about it and just like plan accordingly to it, and it'll always backfire on him. Because like in some of the games they play, like where he's like he almost wins against Mion, but he gets like he overthinks it and thinks, ah yes, Mion, I can read you like a book, and he's like, so it's this one and not that one, it's that. Oh shit, I was wrong. Just like if only he'd go with his instinct the first time, he would have won sometimes. But he ends up just like overanalyzing it and ends up screwing himself over. It's just weird, you think analyzing something in general would be a good thing, but in his case, he tends to screw it up all the times. Satoko, I held my hands in my head and fainted. Satoko revealed at the mind of her abilities. A shrill laughter echoed throughout the classroom. Ha ha! And then there was a poof as lime powder came down upon Satoko's head. A poof, I mean. I looked to see Tomato-kun and Nakamura-kun all in white dumping a whole bag of lime powder on her, getting their revenge.
Oh, Joe, you're the only one who's gonna set up a trick like that. Well, excuse me, Princess, would you happen to have any proof? And I'd like it if you don't call it something so inelegant a trick. I would prefer you call it something more refined. A trap, please. Payback! Ah! Can't you Jan, help me!
Our underclassmen crashed around the classroom in tourist combat, getting white line everywhere. It's weird how they like that. It's like, you get revenge on Satoko, one of them has a crush on her. Well, actually, isn't that a thing? Like, where boys will, like, deliberately, like, pick on a girl that they like or some shit. Kind of stupid, but that does happen, I guess. But in this case, it's more justified. It's like, revenge! Hey, Satoko, why couldn't you see this coming exactly? At the time, I hadn't seen something coming too. The teacher coming to me afterward and giving us all strings off to do. Well, she can't multitask to that extent. Although she probably would have been able to predict it. It's like, oh, they'll be back for revenge, so plan accordingly, but she was distracted by Keiichi. I don't know. They always do this, don't they? It's like, they start on the outside, no dialogue, and then it's like, bell rings, and suddenly we're inside. It's just a way of being like, it's like, again, I haven't watched any anime in ages, but in the animes I have seen, the anime I've seen and all that, there's always that kind of shot, where it'll be like outside a building, and then it'll transition inside. Or it's just a way of transitioning a scene, isn't it? I mean, it's like how, like, when the Higurashi logo pops up and it's like end the chapter, essentially. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? Oh, really? Your parents came home, huh? Your parents came home, huh? They smell like energy drinks and their eyes are all bloodshot. Said they had a crazy amount of stuff to do and were up all whole nights in a row. 2 whole nights, I mean. Adults have it rough, tough.
But that isn't honest, right? They really do have it rough.
Yeah, I imagine so, like. Imagine what it must be like being an artist. I mean, it's not exactly one of those jobs that would be like, get good pay, would it? Like, some artists just, like, can sell their shit for a ridiculous amount. But then there are ones that would struggle to even sell anything at all. I mean, that must be a pain in the ass.
Come to think of it, he wasn't he? I'd very much like to see what kind of things he draws sometimes.
An artist, huh? I'd seen a number of watercolor and acrylic paintings on display, but he had to be doing some other job too. Just what did Dad do exactly? He doesn't even know what his dad's job is. He didn't let anyone into his workshop after all. I went to sneak a peek one day.
So the house was empty for 2 days after all that. That didn't leave much time. So, Keiichi, did you manage to go after the character who was in your heart? The absent of parents is a must-have for eroge protagonists. But, Leon, this isn't that kind of thing, right?
You built up a lot of relationship points and raised all the right flags.
I have no idea what any of you are talking about. Sure you do.
That means you don't need to cook for yourself anymore, Keiichi-kun. What did you make last night?
In the end, I didn't make a single thing myself. Last night's dinner, well, it was vegetable stir-fry.
Wow, Keiichi, you can make a little bit of real cooking now, huh?
You made vegetable stir-fry. It didn't come out good, did it?
Son, you're being unpleasant. Why are you clinging to me?
A delicious meal and friendly dishwashing together. Oh, how nice, how nice!
Hey, I said you're being unpleasant.
What are you talking about? Leon, utterly confused, asked me for clarification, but I just barely of it transparently averted my eyes.
Right. Does anyone have plans for this afternoon? You don't, do you? Do you? Well, we're nearly 50 minutes in, and I think we can have this as just one big long part.
So, I will see you next time, viewers. See you next time.